Hi, David. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you. You are
Okay, good.
with Rhona Mitra from Hounds of War. I'm recording on my end, but for some reason it's not letting me give you recording access, so I will send you the recording after.
All right. For whatever reason, I don't see you guys, but I see myself. Can you see me?
We can
I
see
can
you.
see you.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna do this without video then, because I can't see you, but that's okay. All I really need is just to hear. So anyway, okay. Um,
Oh, what a shame. Hello,
oh,
David.
there you go.
Hi. Oh, you can see me.
Yes, I can see you now.
Great. There you go.
All right. I'm just gonna jump right in, okay? Because we're on a limited schedule here.
Go
Uh,
for it.
you look great. Anyway, here we go. Um, One of my very favorite things about Hounds of War was the location. I felt like Malta was literally its own character in the movie. Say something about working in this beautiful location and, how you were able to just kind of be in that world.
Yeah, it's an incredible place. I had never been, and I had so many friends growing up from Malta that had such specific personality traits. I was like, is it just you, or is this a Maltese thing? And then got to Malta and realized that, oh, it's a Maltese thing. So you've got the history and the beauty, the geography of this place, this amazing. I mean, you saw some of the buildings and the history in those, and then obviously that's all because of the various different wars and all of that. It was just peppered everywhere. It's sort of like a mixture between Lilliput. I mean, because it has kind of elements of, but it's like Mediterranean Lilliput, without Lilliputians, because Maltese are not Lilliputians. They're pretty hardcore. So you've got this very, very sort of beautiful, romantic environment, and then you've got these Maltese who are brilliantly sort of full-hearted, ferocious, bright burning, very loud, very full on, amazing humans, who just, it was just a great crew, a great ride. And we had, crew come from different parts of Europe as well. So it wasn't only Maltese, but it was definitely, yeah, it was a unique experience.
Cool. Just in the past, I mean, you've been in all movies filmed all over the world. What are some other, like, just name another location that really stands out in your mind, in your memory of something that, someplace you've been shooting a film or a show.
Favorite place, bar none, South Africa. Bar none. Bar none. It's like my favorite place in the world, particularly like the southern tip of South Africa. The culture, the geography, the crew, best crew I've ever worked with, South African crew. I just the sort of like the dynamism of the contrast of the cultures, the geography down there. It's bombastically beautiful. It's raw, it's mad, it's feral, it's dangerous. It's all the elements that I like, because I don't really like a quiet time. I'm not a Bahamas person. I shot a movie in Mauritius and it was beautiful, but it was actually also like boring. It was almost sort of too idyllic in a way. um I love African culture, so it was like, for me, that was, and the food down there as well is amazing. I don't know if you've ever been, but it's really good.
What was the project in South Africa?
I did Doomsday. So I was down there, and I was actually training for 2 months prior to that production starting alone. So I was there, living there and working with the stunt guys for like 2 months. And then once filming started, I was there for 5 months. And then I did Strike Back, which was on
Oh,
and off for a couple of years. So, and we did that in all around Cape Town, and we shot in townships. So we got access into some of the most dangerous places in Africa, because we had to shoot there. And we were like doing night shoots with like gangs and all sorts of things going on. So it was a very feral environment. Most people in my position probably wouldn't have liked it, but I'm, justifiably quite mad. So I think that I kind of love that, you know. I don't like filming on sets, like, stages. It's so boring. So filming on location where you've got real live feral elements happening lend itself to the story. Like, it's palpable. You can see it. It comes out of the skin of the people in the scene because it's all around you. And I think that, being able to shoot down there and the way the crews work down there, they're so brave. Then, like, South Africans just don't care. They just get things done. And I love that.
Nice. Lovely. Well, I'm an unapologetic fan of a lot of stuff that you've been in, and I wouldn't have done this interview if I wasn't a fan of you. So,
Oh, well,
yeah,
I'm honored. Thank you.
yeah. But one common denominator that seems to be the thread of a lot of the movies that you're in, or that you are a part of, is that you're great holding a sword or a gun or crossbow or whatever it is. I mean, you seem to have a real grounding for weapons and fight choreography, including in
Thank
Hounds of
you.
War.
Thank you.
Say something about just being, a part of this. I don't know what it is, like a warrior mentality, soldier mentality that you kind of have to, just click a little bit and find yourself in that sort of holding a weapon.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That means a lot, you saying that, and I appreciate it because it's important, actually. It is important because I don't know how much you can fake it. I think that there's a big part of you that has to really be it. And for better or for worse, even though I'm obviously not, a vampire warrior, princess, or nor am I the head of a special ops unit or any of these things. There's a huge part of me that I bring to those roles, and I wonder what they are. And I realize that, for better or for worse, I've had to do a lot of, fighting in my own life, and I think we all do to varying degrees. And it's a big part of my character. I know what it is to go toe to toe with big personalities and have to use a part of my prowess other than just my physical to get the job done. And the thing I like about being a woman in that world, even though I'm not a bra burner or like a kind of like female empowerment advocate at all. I don't. I believe in human empowerment. I believe in being an example of the truest, wholest version of a human in whatever the situation. And what I always like about these characters, because I love the physical element, I love working with stunties, I love working with choreographers, their discipline, their dedication, their brotherhood, their sisterhood. I maybe would have been great in the army. I maybe would have been a better stunt person than actor. I like it. It makes me feel safe. It makes me feel like I'm part of a family. It makes me feel great when we make things look plausible. But more importantly, I like it when I bring in the little girl who was there before all of the fighting started. And one thing that I try to do with all my characters is make sure that the human is there. And so whoever's watching it, whether it's male or female, they go, I relate to her. I can see her. It's not just kicks and punches and elbows and swords and horses. Because all that's wonderful and all that's great and all of that looks really groovy. But if when you get to that close up and you see the eyes and you lock onto those scenes between whether it's me and Lucian in Underworld or Bob Hoskins and me in Doomsday, as fucking ridiculous as that was, you see a father and daughter relationship. You see two kids who actually love each other deeply, even though they're vampire and werewolf, that there is, a world where we're all deeply misunderstood and we're all forced into doing things that we probably shouldn't be doing. So where are the kids underneath that? And one thing I always try to do is like, when do we all come up for air and allow the real person to take off the armor? That's what I'm interested in. And so that's always the duality that I try to bring into it, because the fighting stuff for me is like, that's it's not the easy part, but that's the part that I know that I can do. The other part is making sure that they're real, they're human underneath.
Very good. All right, cool. So yeah, I mean, you mentioned a couple of movies that I love, but I should stick to task with Hounds of War. You're up well, you're not really up against Grillo, but Grillo, as everybody knows, has this real tough guy persona, and you kind of have that too. I don't really see a lot of soft side Rhona Mitra in the movies that I've seen you in. I very rarely see, I mean, maybe in Highwaymen, you know, you're very vulnerable in that movie. But how would you kind of tap into what's written on the page with something like Hounds of War? Because I mean, it's not a real, I don't know how to describe the character, but you know, you bring something to that role.
I mean, I do soft stuff. I mean, if more, I suppose, in the world of like, you know, The Last Ship and you know, but well, you know what? Age helps. Age helps an awful lot. You know, I think maturing helps. I think the fact that the character had the maturity to step away from a very sort of dangerous, you know, ego-driven, financially bound, you know, mercenary world, and you know, tap back into her femininity is testament to the character. You know, she did that. I do that. I've done that. You know, the film industry and its kind of the aggressive side of its sort of ego narcissism is a war zone in of itself. It really is. It's not all glitter, red carpets, and everybody kind of in love with each other. Far from it. And so, you know, stepping away from that in my own life and creating a sanctuary in my own life, which is what I have done, and living in nature in peace, away from sort of the noise of any industry and any level of kind of capitalist, you know, bombastic, you know, brutality, has given me a softness that when I read a character like Celine, it's a no-brainer. You know, that's not Shakespeare for me. I get it. I know it. And while obviously, you know, I think the world has become a war zone, I think, for all of us, you know, to greater and lesser degree. Obviously, we're not living in a time, me personally, I'm not living in a space anyway. I'm living in a time, like we're all living in a time where things are pretty out of control. And so to be able to have that balance and bring it to a movie like this, I think is really important. So I just tapped into what I know to be true in my own experience, and I brought it to the character.
Hey, thank you, Rhona. You're lovely. I very much appreciate your time, and I'm out of here. Okay. Thank you.
Likewise, you take care. Much love.
Bye.
Bye, David.